Level 1, the candidate. You arrive at Scout Sniper School, hauling 60 pounds of gear through the thick Carolina humidity. Air so heavy it feels like breathing through a damp cloth. The instructors are already observing, assessing, quietly sorting everyone into categories you can't see, but they can. Potential, borderline, or a waste of time. No one tells you where you fall. No one tells you anything beyond where to stand and when to move. The attrition rate is 70%. They mention it the first morning like it's just another weather update, another fact about the environment you chose to enter. 7 out of 10 won't make it to the end. Some will quit, some will be cut. Others will break in ways that aren't obvious at first, but become clear over time. The first week focuses on stalking, not shooting, not ballistics, moving across terrain without being detected. You crawl low through open fields while instructors scan with binoculars for any movement. If they spot you, you start again. You build ghillie suits from burlap and local vegetation, turning yourself into something that no longer looks human, something that blends into dirt, grass, and shadow. You learn to move inches per hour when needed. You realize patience is a weapon more valuable than any rifle. You discover the sniper's true skill isn't pulling the trigger, it's becoming invisible. Candidates begin dropping out in groups. One quits after a freezing night exercise that leaves him questioning everything. 2 are removed for safety violations. 1 simply disappears, his bunk empty, Gil returned, decision made sometime in the dark. You stay, not because you're the best, but because you refuse to picture yourself leaving. Every crawl through mud, every hour motionless while insects crawl across your face, every failure that sends you back to the start, you bury it somewhere. It can't shake your resolve. This is what you chose. This is who you're becoming. The shooting phase comes later, and it's harder than expected. You know rifles, you've hunted, hit targets at distances that impress civilians, but precision shooting at 1,000 yards is a completely different discipline. Wind doesn't just push a bullet, it bends it, shifting second by second through layers of air with different temperatures and density. Gravity pulls it down in arcs that demand calculation, not guesswork. The fundamentals you thought you had mastered are only the beginning. The final phase pushes even the strongest candidates to their limit. 4 days in the field with barely any supplies, completing evaluated stalks, taking scored shots under pressure, surviving on sleep measured in minutes, not hours. Your body stops telling the difference between skin and mud. Your mind narrows to the next task and nothing beyond it. Instructors aren't just watching your body, they're watching your mind. Some perform perfectly until something breaks. A mental limit finally gives way under the pressure. When it happens, they're gone immediately. Not punished, simply identified as unfit. This job requires a mindset that can't be taught, only revealed. You make it through because you discover something about yourself. Under pressure, your mind doesn't spiral, it quiets. Chaos doesn't overwhelm you, it sharpens your focus. The harder it gets, the more clearly you think. It's not bravery, it's simply how you're built. You graduate in the lower third of your class, not outstanding, not terrible, just capable. You earn your designation and receive orders to join a unit that needs personnel more than perfection. Level 2, the spotter. Your team leader is a staff sergeant named Reyes, 4 deployments behind him, and eyes that never fully settle on the present. He's taken more lives than you've had conversations, and the weight of it shows, but only if you look closely. A hesitation before entering rooms, always sitting where he can see every exit. Nightmares he never mentions, but everyone hears through thin walls. You're the junior, which means you spot. The shooter pulls the trigger, but the spotter does everything else. Range estimation, wind calls, target identification, documentation. You become the shooter's external brain, handling the thinking so he can focus entirely on execution. Your first deployment is to a country you're not supposed to name, doing things that officially never happen. The rules of engagement shift constantly. The enemy wears no uniform. They look like everyone else, until they don't. You learn to read danger in subtle ways, the way someone walks, the position of their hands, tiny disruptions in normal patterns just before violence appears. Your first kill as a spotter is a man holding an RPG. Reyes takes the shot from 800 meters, while you call wind, confirm the target, and watch through your scope as the impact arrives before the sound. One moment he's preparing to fire, the next he's collapsing. Life simply stops. The RPG falls, unfired, across the rooftop. You expect a strong reaction, shock maybe, even horror. Instead, you feel something colder, a professional satisfaction. The task was done right. Clean shot, valid target, mission accomplished. You file his face somewhere deep, somewhere it won't resurface, and move on. Reyes watches you closely, searching for cracks. He's seen others break at this exact moment, training becoming reality, but he doesn't find what he's looking for, which might be reassuring or might be something else entirely. Over time, you learn things no school can teach, how air behaves differently depending on terrain and time of day, how to improvise positions when perfect ones don't exist, how to walk away when the shot isn't there. You learn patience matters more than numbers. You learn the rhythm of deployment, intense operations followed by long, empty stretches where nothing happens except waiting. You build bonds with people who shared experiences no one else will understand. Letters from home arrive already outdated, describing a life moving on without you. Level 3. The Shooter. Reyes rotates back home after his 5th deployment, stepping into a training role everyone understands is partly about something else, the drinking that's become noticeable, the marriage already gone.
You attend his farewell carrying mixed emotions, respect, relief, a quiet sense of loss for who he might have been without everything he's seen. His replacement is younger than you, a staff sergeant from another unit, higher rank but less experience where it counts. The hierarchy shifts without being spoken. You become the shooter, not because of rank, but because the team needs you to be. Your first shot as primary is almost uneventful. 600 meters, stable wind, ideal conditions. Breath, pause, squeeze. Impact, confirm, move. Clean, efficient, forgettable. It's the difficult shots that define you. A hostage situation in a valley compound. Intelligence is solid. Multiple sources, recent confirmations. 3 aid workers taken weeks earlier. 1 execution already released online. Time is limited. You set up at 1,400 meters, farther than anything you've done in combat. The wind shifts constantly, valley thermals turning prediction into guesswork. Your spotter feeds you numbers that keep changing. You wait, hours behind glass, memorizing guard patterns, watching for opportunity. The hostages appear briefly, faces you recognize from briefings, alive, for now. The moment comes at sunset. A guard pauses exactly where you need him, for just long enough. You apply corrections, half calculation, half instinct. The trigger breaks. The round travels. Impact. The assault begins immediately. 20 minutes later, the hostages are on helicopters, alive. 3 lives saved by a single shot. It feels different, not better, not worse, just different. The weight shifts slightly. Level 4. The Instructor. You return to the same school that built you, now standing where the instructors once stood. The candidates look familiar, versions of who you used to be. The cycle continues. Teaching exposes gaps in your own understanding. Techniques you mastered now need explanation. The why behind every movement, every rule. You become sharper by teaching others. Students struggle with the same things you did: breath control, patience, mental discipline. You learn to predict who will make it. Not the strongest, not the most talented. The ones who adapt, who treat failure as feedback, not defeat. Your reputation forms quickly. Strict, precise, fair. Your criticism is exact, never wasted. Your standards don't bend. Graduates from your class perform better in real deployments, and that's the only metric that matters. But teaching creates distance. You're shaping shooters, not being one. The edge fades slightly. Not skill, but something harder to define. The readiness, the instinct. combat becomes theory instead of reality, and you realize something uncomfortable. You miss it. Level 5, the team leader. You deploy again. The unit is younger now, different mindset, different world. They call you old man, half joke, half truth. Your body reminds you of time passing, joints stiff, recovery slower. But experience matters more than ever. You've seen mistakes and consequences. You know when to trust instinct and when to override it. The missions are more complex now, higher stakes, better intelligence, harder shots. One shot defines your reputation. 1,700 meters, moving target, limited time. No perfect setup, no second chance. You take it anyway. And it lands. The team talks about it for weeks. The story grows each time. You don't correct them, but you know the truth. Luck played a role. The wind aligned. The target paused. It could have gone the other way. The shot that stays with you isn't that one. It's the mistake. A target misidentified. Intelligence wrong. Your shot? Perfect. The result? A civilian dead. Reports call it collateral damage. You call it something else. It follows you. For months. Maybe longer. The system clears you. The reviews clear you. But your mind doesn't. And that face never leaves. You learn to carry it, because the alternative, feeling nothing, is worse. Level 6, the Master. The title isn't official, it's earned. It means you lasted, through time, pressure, and chance. Younger soldiers come to you for answers others can't give. You've seen things they haven't, and hope they never will. You split time between operations and development, testing new tech, smarter optics, automated systems. Tools designed to remove human error. But you understand something engineers don't. The human element isn't the weakness, it's the difference. Judgment, intuition, restraint. Things no machine can replicate. Remove that, and you lose something essential. Your final deployment is both easiest and hardest. Easy because you've done it all before. Hard because you know it's the last. That knowledge changes everything. You notice more, appreciate more. Even the ordinary feels significant. The last shot isn't special. Medium distance, standard conditions, routine execution. You don't realize it's the last until you're already heading home. 22 years, hundreds of operations, kills you stopped counting. You trained others who now train more. Your impact continues without your name attached. What you bring home isn't visible. The faces, the sounds, the memories that return without warning, the awareness that never turns off, the relationships lost along the way. But also this, the lives saved, the attacks prevented, the people still alive because you did something most never could. The balance never feels exact, and maybe it's not meant to. The rifle is stored away. The skills fade slowly, but never fully. The identity remains beneath whatever life you build next, because you can't unlearn what you've lived. Some nights you think about the shots you didn't take, the hesitation, the targets that walked away. You wonder what became of them, whether those lives led to something good or something worse. You'll never know. That's the nature of the work. One shot at a time, one breath at a time. And the discipline holds.